Hello, everybody, and welcome in. It is Saturday afternoon, and we all know what that means. That means we're back with racing action here at GT45 Gaming in the Gran Turismo racing community, presented by the GTRC, the Gran Turismo racing community, and I'm your host for the evening, GT45 Gaming. Together, combined, we're going to bring to you round number 2 of our Audi TT Cup Championship Series. This is our mini series that follows up right in behind our main GR2 series, which we've seen last weekend. Absolutely spectacular race again from that group over there last weekend here from the GTRC. But that brings us back into our Audi TT Cup series. So this is a Group 4 car designed into a touring car style series here, this particular championship series. So a few of our rules here and stipulations and regulations of our race here today. Again, it is a one make series. It's a Group 4 Audi TT Cup 2016 version racing car. It's a beautiful racing car, one of my favorite cars to race in the game personally. And we have what looks like to be 12 drivers on the grid here right now, getting ready. We are over in Belgium here today, and we are at Spa, the great racetrack of Spa. A little bit of a big racetrack for these race cars, so it should be quite interesting to see how the drivers are going to manage this race. Fuel is definitely going to play a factor here, most likely, and tires could play a factor. It is the racing hard compounded tires that these drivers are using this season, and that is the only tire that they're allowed to use throughout the season. Now, there is no pit mandate here. The drivers will most likely need to stop for tires or fuel at some point through the race, which will force the drivers in for a pit stop. But when they make that pit stop, there is no tire mandate. They do not need to change the tires if they choose not to. So that means it's a fuel stop basically only for these drivers if that's what they choose to do, or they can take a fresh set of hard compound tires if that's what they choose to do and continue on a fresh set of rubber. However, for the most part with these hard tires, probably get an hour-long race on them, and they'll probably start feeling a little choppy near the end of that 1 hour race, but they'll still have plenty of rubber underneath of them yet. So really, it's going to come down to kind of consistency, pace, and slipstreaming here. These cars are going to definitely require some slipstreaming help, I think, to stay in touch with each other as the race progresses, and really, it's anybody's game. So again, 12 drivers are on track here in the Audi TT Cup Series. It's an 8 liter a second refueling speed here as well. Damage is on light, and the weather is, however, random. So that could throw the big proverbial wrench into the whole program here for the drivers if it decides to rain on the racetrack. So again, there is a mandate for that as well. If it does rain, I believe that rain needs to hold for a certain duration of time. It needs to be 33% on the moisture meter, which means in Gran Turismo and Polyphony Digital's eyes, that's when you should be using the intermediate wet tires on your racing cars. So we do need to see the meter to get to that if it does rain. Spa is a track where rain could most certainly play a factor. And right now, as I'm looking at the track, it's somewhat cloudy with sunny breaks at the moment. So the weather seems to be holding up all right at the moment. But we all know that can change very quickly here at Spa. So going to be interested to see what's going to happen here today for our drivers. And of course, that's just our loop here with the track. So on the screen in front of us is, well, the track itself. It is a 4.53 mile racetrack, 7 kilometers long, and it has a tarmac road surface. It's got 20 left and right hand turns. It's a real world circuit, and it has an elevation change of 341 feet or 104 meters from the highest point to the lowest point on the racetrack. And this is just a beauty of a racetrack. It's been home to 24-hour world endurance events here from the WEC, of course, Formula One racing, and multitude of other events that happen here year in and year out. When Spa opened, it kind of took over all the racetracks around Belgium. It was the premier racetrack, Spa, and it has been ever since. So all the big events come and happen right here at Spa. And of course, it does include our 24 hours at Spa every year at the WEC as well, which is a crazy fun race to watch. So today, the guys are going to take the Audis out there and give them a rip. So that's a little bit about what's going down here. Let's bring up our standings here. So after one round of racing as well, we still have 5 minutes to qualifying here. We are on it today, chat. This is where our standings lie. So it is TT Pigham's in the lead here with 20 points. We got Doug Burrow chasing in second place with 17 points. We got Mike 1972 there with 15 points. We got Subi Mark in fourth place with 14 points. We got Hair Razor underneath him with 11. We've got Bar 27 with 10 points. Supra with 9. Happy Pappy with 8. Ken Neely with 7 points. Badass with 6 points. And Type R with 5 points. And that is after official results have been placed after round one. So you can see the season just started. So lots to race for here yet. So today is going to be kind of a round where some of these drivers are going to try and want to put a little bit of a points gap between them and the next driver. Some drivers are going to want to make up maybe for not a great result in round one. So it's going to be interesting to see. Spa is just one of those tracks that the racers know quite well. So unfamiliarity with the racetrack is not going to be an issue here today from all of our racers. The issue is going to be the battle with the driver and the car. And these front wheel drive cars are a little tricky. And especially on these high-speed tracks, the car is on a balance of performance setting, which means we don't even get to use all of it here today, unfortunately, for these guys on this big racetrack. So they are going to be limited to what the balance of performance allows these cars to have. So really it comes down to the guy or gal behind the wheel of these racing cars here today. The teams can set them up, but it still takes the driver to bring it across that checkered flag first. LFR Designs coming in with that thumbs up. How you doing, brother? Appreciate you, my guy. Hope everybody is doing well. We're just going to do a quick check on the stream. Let's go TT, says Nuclear. The like and the share on the stream. Much love, my dude. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right. Everything does look like it seems like it's running pretty good here. So with that being said, let's see if we can bring up that last and final dashboard here. My computer is starting to get very limited to what it can do with these fancy overlays that we're running here now on the page. So bear with here. As I'm just switching over to my YouTube channel just to make sure that my channel is working good. All right, fantastic. We got to tag the game here too as well. So we got 2 minutes to qualifying here, and I think we're going to see about 2 laps around the track here today for these drivers, maybe 3. I'm not 100% sure, but it's going to be 2 or 3 hot laps here today for these drivers. Again, it's a 2-minute plus lap around Spa for these cars, so we're going to see about 26 to 29 laps around this racetrack here today for our race, I think, and that might even be a little bit generous potentially. So I just need to make a quick adjustment here, so just bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. This is just going to take a moment, as I just need to tag Gran Turismo on my YouTube channel so we get better reach. And with that being said, actually, now that we're talking about reach, if you haven't done so already, if you wouldn't mind like and sharing the stream out for us, no matter which channel it is that you're viewing from, that'd be fantastic. And if you've done so already, of course, we appreciate the legendary support as always. And all that does is just help us grow for free. So we are just about underway here, and we're going to get ourselves on track here, actually, for this ourselves. Get some information changed around on our screen. Get a little preparedness going here. All right, so you guys could probably hear what's going on in the background. Can you? Can you? I think you cannot, because I do not have that on this lay. I'm good. How about you, man? How you doing, brother? It has been a hot minute. All right, so track officials just got the track trucks out here right now. They are basically just clearing the track and getting it ready for qualifying conditions here for our racers. So we should be under qualifying within about the next 2 minutes here, I would imagine. And Audi TT Cup racing at its finest here. So we're going to switch over to the big screen as soon as we get our qualifying transition done here. And in the meantime, we'll bring up our beautiful little track loop here from our production crew from Spa. So, you know, huge credit to the production team and all the volunteers behind the scenes at GT45 Gaming to make these things happen. Track maps, graphics, images, racers, leagues to race, of course, and YouTube channels to stream too. So, you know, much love to the league racers and the communities out there, because it really is a lot of fun being a broadcaster in Gran Turismo 7. Obviously, the game looks spectacular. That obviously helps, but the racers, they do such a great great job on the racetrack every week. Non-stop for over a week? Oh, get some, my guy, get some. Don't burn yourself out, though, dude. Don't burn yourself out, man. It's a delicate balance. All right, looks like we're just getting the word from our track officials here that the track is A-OK. So the track trucks are going to get off the racetrack, go into their respective safety positions around the racetrack, and we're going to get these drivers ready for qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to see, like I said, I believe it's going to be a 2 hot lap qualifier here this weekend for our Audi TT Cup drivers. Of course, again, it's about 2.5 minutes a lap here for these cars. So then we'll switch over to the big screen as soon as that happens, and hopefully the stream plays nice today. Wouldn't that be fantastic? We got one driver that's opting not to qualify here today, and it's an interesting decision, not due to a penalty or anything like that. There were no penalties handed out after round 1, so round 1 was without incident, which is fantastic. That's what we love to see. And as a matter of fact, we've been without incident all season long here so far from the GTRC after 3 rounds of racing. So the racers are definitely on it this season with these 2 championship seasons we have going on here, and they have definitely come to race. All right, so we are just about underway here. There we go. We are underway here. I'm just going to change the information, and then we'll flip you guys over to see the action. Ooh, had a little bit of a lag moment there. "20 laps would make more sense at 2.5 minutes a lap." Yeah, you're probably right there. That's a good call. Oops, I didn't mean to open that. Alright, the stream lagged for a second. That was totally my fault. Alright, so we got the drivers jockeying for position a little bit here on the racetrack right now for qualifying, and then they'll sort each other out. This is just the out lap, so it's not, again, it's not the end of the world. Nothing is happening here. The drivers are just trying to warm their tires up, etc., etc., and all that great stuff that happens in between. So we're just going to make sure everything's working. Game audio is working. Perfect. Alright, good start to the day. So we're going to be on board with Piggums here. Piggums is going to take us around the racetrack here for the first time. And then we'll go through our field as we come across the start-finish line on their first official laps. And then we will see where everybody settles in after, well, 2 very short but long laps of qualifying here around Spa today. So our championship points leader coming into round 2 is going to lead us off here. He's got second place driver Doug Bro right in behind him here as well in qualifying, and it's a feisty. This has been a feisty series already. It's only 1 round in, so I expect it's only going to get more intense as we continue to get deeper into racing rounds, especially as drivers start to get very comfortable with these racing cars. It's going to get just really, really tight racing. These Audi TT Cup cars usually provide pretty good racing, so it should be a blast here. Alright, so we're just getting near the end of, like I said, a very long lap here with these cars at Spa. And we're going to be officially under qualifying conditions here after Piggums leads us around the final corner in the chicane here. And this takes us up to the start-finish line, which is just right in front of them right there. Boom, crossing it. Alright, we are officially underway here. So heading into turn number 1, Lasaurus here. This is about 100 and I would say 70, maybe 65 degree hairpin corner. Takes you exactly in the opposite direction of the racetrack, and that leads us up a very long run here into, well, it's a very famous section of Spa here, Eau Rouge and L'Arléon. And 2-part section here, Eau Rouge, a little kink here, moving right over to the curbing, get ready for that blind turn in on L'Arléon, and then again, just a huge uphill run from here. So now we're heading up to Kemmel Straight, and that takes us into our first technical sector of the racetrack here at Lacombe and Brussels. So leading into turn 6, 7, and 8 here, it's a high speed coming into a braking zone here, and we got a set of S corners here. And Spa really is designed to challenge a race car driver at high speed, mid-speed pace here around their racetrack. It's a great racetrack as well. So now you get through there, and we stay over on the left side. We get ready for a very hard hairpin corner, downhill as well in the braking. You got to brake a little bit earlier there and allow the car to just kind of roll through the corner. That's Brussels, and that leads us right into that doesn't leave us into Buon. That leaves us into the left-hander setting up for Buon here. So now we're going to stay very, very right. We're even going to take some of the curb here at the 50-meter board. We're going to start to brake, get ready for that turn in, and we're going to try to use all of the corner. It's a super long, high-speed section here, basically a double apex 180-degree corner here through Buon. From there, that takes us down into a second set of S's campus. And same as Lacombe's, essentially, it's just a sector of S corners here that leads into the next sector of the racetrack. That takes us into Stave Lot here, which sets us up now for, of course, the Paul Frere curve, another famous corner here at Spa. And this is full send if you get it just right here, but again, you really got to utilize all of the racetrack in the corner available to you. From here now, it's just a very, very long run. And these guys are just waiting to get in through Blois Chemin. This is high speed, you're not lifting here, you're full sending, you need to turn in quite early, and then that takes us into, again, the chicane. So here we go, Pickham's for the first time around here. Let's see what he puts down here at Spa. I don't even know exactly what to expect for times here today. I haven't even ran or seen these guys really run any laps here today, so it's going to be Pickham's to come across first, and it's going to be a 2:30. Doug is going to come through, and it's going to be a 2:31, so we're with Barr here, who was passed by, I don't know who, somebody. Looks like Subi. It is Subi Mark here, so let's see, as he comes through, he's third place. We got Tap in fourth. We've got Hair Razor here in fifth place. We got Ken Neely coming around. There we go. There's our boy Ken. He's going to sit in sixth here, and seventh place Type R, Bar 27 here in eighth. We got Mike 1972 in ninth. We got Pappy here in 10th, and he's still coming around. Where's Mike? Just came through here. Yeah, I think he just went up. All right. Pappy moves up into ninth position. Badass is coming through here on his first lap. That's good enough for fifth place there for him. That driver isn't a registered driver here in the league, and most likely will be removed from the lobby. Alright, so it is Piggums here leading the charge. We got Doug Barrow in second place. We got Subi Mark in third. We've got Tap here in fourth place. We've got Badass currently sitting in fifth. We've got Mike in sixth place. We got Hair Razor in seventh. We got Ken getting it a little bit wrong there in eighth place. We got Type R in ninth with Happy Pappy sitting 10th place currently here in the racetrack. We got Bar 27 handling some business on the racetrack here. We got an unregistered driver on the track, so he's just taking care of that. Unfortunately for Bar, that means he's giving up his qualifying run here to deal with that. But yeah, it is what it is when you're a league official. You gotta take care of business sometimes. Alright, Hair Racer, when you get an opportunity, you just want to remove him for the day so he can't come back into the lobby. Clearly he's going to cause an issue. We got Tap here in fourth place. We got Badass in fifth position. We got Mike 1972 here in sixth place. We got Hair Razor in seventh. We got Kent Neely here in eighth. We've got Type R in ninth. We got Pappy here in 10th. Got the guy that shouldn't be on the racetrack in 11th. And we got Bar here in 12th place. That's not where Bar is. It could be where he is, but that's all right. Racing is racing. It's an hour-long race, and there is a lot of time and a lot of racetrack here to drive up through the field here. So good job there for Bar to manage duties. But it is Pick'em still in poles, 230.3. Doug's at a 230.6, so he came very close there. Pick'em's is on his second lap here, it looks like. We got Doug sitting there, happy. Subi Mark comes through, he's at a 230.9. Hair Razor moves up into fourth place on his final lap there. I believe that's Tap going around in fifth there right now. Is that? I don't know whose car that is. Mike 1972 here in sixth. We got Type R. Oh, it was Type R I see. Ah. Thank you, gentlemen. Ken Neely in eighth place here, so looking good here as well on the racetrack. Happy Pappy's going to come through. It's going to be no improvement there. Supra did not qualify. He is the driver that opted not to qualify here, so he's actually going to start just behind Bar 27, as Bar 27 did have one recorded lap time in, and actually Bar improves down into 10th there. I'm not sure. we'll get the official lineup when they're lined up on the grid here. A little bit of confusion here today as we had a non-registered racer jump on track there, so Barr had to jump off track to handle the situation, so he's going to be starting a little bit further back than I think he'd probably ideally like, but you know what? 1 hour race here at Spa, 3 times tire, 3 times fuel. Racing hard tires are the tires that are used here, and no mandatory pits here in the series this season. So the drivers will have to pit for fuel or tires at some point throughout the race, but they don't need to if they choose not to. But getting an hour on fuel here at Spa in these cars is going to be very difficult because these cars are going to be at high speed for the majority of this race. So they're going to use fuel up pretty quick here. Alright, we're just going to check, make sure everything's working. Everything looks like it's working. Before we get going, Aaron with the light, appreciate you, my dude. Alright. I thought the damage was light. The damage may actually be heavy in this series. It's light in the Group 2 series. It very well could be heavy here in this series, actually, so we'll have to wait and see. I've been watching the damage flashing on Barr's race car here for a bit, and it hasn't gone away, so that tells me it's on heavy. So drivers will have to be very careful on lap number 1 here, especially heading up into, of course, La Source, right off the start line. It's getting a little bit of a problem spot here at the race start at Spa because it's just a very hard braking corner, and everybody's at very slow speeds, and everybody's bearing down at the corner at the same time. So that gets a little bit confusing, chaotic at times. And then from there, everybody sorts themselves out up through the Kemmel Straight, but then you got Lacombe and Brussels to get through from there, and that will tend to create a little bit of what we like to call the accordion effect leading up into that sector on the first lap as well. But once we get through the first lap, then the drivers will start to kind of sort themselves out and then settle down in their positions, and we'll get to racing from there and get hard, clean battling. So lap 1 is always a little exciting. You never know what to expect, but then from there, that's when the races start to settle in and the racers get to doing what they do best, and that is getting to business on the racetrack, trying to pass all the other drivers. Good luck to everyone, says Aaron. Appreciate you, my guy. Alright, so we're just waiting here, so we're going to flip back over to the other screen. While we wait, we'll chat. It was pretty quiet qualifying for the most part. We have what appears to be Pigham's in pole position. Looks like Doug in second, Subi Mark in third, Hairraiser in fourth, Badass in fifth. Tap in 6th, we got Mike in 7th, we got Type R in 8th, we've got Ken Neely in 9th, we got Happy Pappy in 10th, we've got Bar 27 in 11th, and Supra, who opted not to qualify here today, in 12th place. So interesting. I'm not sure what the motive behind that strategy is, but I guess we'll have to see how the race works out for him here today, and maybe we'll get to talk to him during podium interviews. But he's just sitting burning off some front tires there on the front straightaway right now in that Audi, and he's the only driver that's actually opted to go with that Audi Group 2 car in the Group 2 series. So he's a big Audi fan, obviously. He's got the same livery on his TT Cup car as he does his Group 2 Audi car in the Audi series as well. So and a little bit of an Audi fan here potentially is Supra. So we'll have to see how he does here today. These cars are quite a bit different than most of the Group 4 cars. Obviously, they're front-wheel drive cars, so the engine's in the front. The drive wheels are also in the front, which means all the braking is also on really the front tires. So all the workload on these TT Cup cars is on the front end of this race car. The tires, the braking, the engine, everything. It's all front tire load here. Very hard actually to keep the rear tires in these cars warm under racing conditions. The best thing that these drivers can really do is when they get on these straightaways is just try to wiggle a little bit back and forth and try and keep a little bit of heat in those rear tires, because the one complaint I've heard so far from the racers in this series is that the back tires they can't get up to proper race pace temperature, and that creates the back end of these cars to slide out quite a bit. So that's been the one complaint so far that we've heard from the racers so far in the paddock and behind the scenes of this series is that it's really hard to keep the rear tires warm on these racing cars because the front tires take all of the load, as compared to a rear wheel drive car where the rear wheel drive is doing all the torque and all the pushing and all the pulling, and the brakes are more even throughout that car. All four tires are getting an even workload, but in these front wheel drive cars, the front wheels are taking all the workload. So the rear tires are kind of getting just left alone in the business. And I mean, in a sense, when you do pit stops, mostly these types of cars, you rarely will actually see rear tire changes on them because the rear tires just don't wear that much. You typically in real life you'll just see these guys change front tires on these cars a lot, but a lot of the technology nowadays, of course, I think the front wheel drive cars are starting to become a thing of the past, so we're starting to evolve into more all-wheel drive style cars now, in these touring car style series cars, or these lower end group 4 cars as I like to call it. It's unfortunate Gran Turismo to kind of nerf these cars into the ground. They're actually not really properly competitive in a group 4 setting anymore. There's the odd racetrack here and there where they do really well, but all right, ladies and gentlemen, race control has finally cleared our racetrack and we are gonna get underway. So we do have some overcast sky right now. The sun has kind of disappeared here, so that should cool the track down to start this race. So without further ado, kick them tires, light them fires. We're going racing cup style. Let's go. And our pole sitter Piggums leads us off here. Is he going to get the whole shot? You can see everybody just sitting there, nice and patient out to start. That was a really good start there. We got Subi Mark taking a look up the inside of Doug there. A little bit of lag coming from that driver. He's going to bottle up the pack here a little bit, but everybody got through nice and clean there. So everybody reacted accordingly, heading into the source the first time. And here we go. The run up in through the Rouge and already on for the first time up to the Camel Straight. And it's Doug Burrow and Piggums basically nose to tail. Hair Razor in third. We got Mark in fourth. We got Badass right there in fifth place. We got Mike in sixth. We got Tap in seventh. Got Ken Neely there in eighth place. We got Type R in ninth. Happy Pappy sitting in 10th. We got Super in 11th and Bar down into 12th place early on here in the race. So far so good, but here we go, heading into Lacombe for the first time. We got Mark going on the defensive side, or Hair Razor going on the defensive side there. It looks like Mark hanging it tough on the outside there, and we're still side by side as we're coming through Lacombe here and heading into Brussels. It is going to be Subi Mark to get the job done. Now it looked like Badass was taking a little look there up the inside of Hair Razor as well, and Hair Razor slots himself in between Mark and Badass there. He's going to hold down fourth place here for the time being, but feeling some pressure from the back of the pack here right away is Hair Razor. But this gentleman is definitely up to the challenge here, as Badass is tucked right in underneath his rear spoiler here, and we are nose to tail right through the field here as we head in towards Pouan for the first time. And this is a very high speed elongated double apex, basically 180 degree corner. When you break it down, it takes you right back around the other direction of the racetrack here again, and Badass is just tucked in. He is right in underneath Hair Razor, and is he get an opportunity there? Hair Razor left the door open a little bit there, and we're side by side. Badass is just going to slot back in front, or in behind, pardon me here. Hair Razor for the time being. He does have Mike 1972 there taking a look in behind him there as well, and he's in a tough position right now. He's trying to attack, but he's also got to be aware of that pack in behind. He can get gobbled up real quick if you make the wrong decision at the wrong time here. So it is Piggum still leading the charge here to take things off on lap number 1 with Doug chasing, Subi Mark in third, Hair Razor in fourth place with Badass right underneath in fifth, and Mike 1972 just in behind him in sixth place. That leaves Tap right in behind chasing him in seventh place, and Ken Neely just about a half second in behind him with Type R in tow and Happy Pappy there as well. A little battle here right now actually between Supra and Happy Pappy here, and this is for 10th and 11th place. And Supra is going to get the position on Happy Pappy heading into the chicane under braking there, and that was a great pass there from Supra for 10th place over Happy Pappy, and that leaves Bar 27 here just tucked in 12th place in behind. Yeah, it is all good, my guy. We appreciate you though. If you get her fixed, you're always welcome, you know that. We got Piggums here in first place. He's almost got a second built up here on Doug Burrow right now, and just trying to break the slipstream right now, and that is going to be key here for the racers today. If you can break the toe from the group in behind you, or the driver chasing in behind you, you may have a chance of starting to open up a gap, but boy, you're going to have to be on point, and you're really going to have to be consistent here today to make that happen. And as these tires break down, and as the weather continues to change here at Spa, it's going to be a little hit and miss here right now. The track is a little cool because the cloud is protecting the track from the sun at the moment, but it looks like the sun's starting to poke its head back through here a little bit, so it looks like it's a partially cloudy, sunny day here so far today, and that's good for the racers. Hair Racer here in 4th place has managed to hold Badass off here for the time being. Badass is just about 0.8 of a second in behind. He still has Mike 1972 in behind by about a half second. Nobody real push right now. Everybody's just chilling. We got Tap here in 7th place. We got Ken Neely still in 8th place here, and he's got about 1.4 seconds of that gap in behind. And we got Supra, all kinds of on the grass there, coming around the second part of the Brussels sector, heading into Puhan there. He's going to have some dirty tires now heading into Puhan here, and he held that corner real nice there, but great save there from Supra as he got it a little bit wrong. Happy in 11th and Bar 27 right there in 12th, so the field's still fairly close together here. What is it, 8 seconds separating 1st through 12th place at the moment, so not too bad, not too bad. Alright, so it is Pigham's here as he heads up into the Paul Frere curve for the second time here today, and he still has Doug in tow. So yeah, the one thing he hasn't been able to do is break the slipstream, and it's tough because again, these cars only go so fast, so slipstream is going to be an important part of this race here today if you can utilize it to your advantage. We got Hair Razor here in 4th place, and we got Battle in behind here for 5th, and that is Mike 1972 and Badass, and Mike 1972 is going to get the job done, and Badass is going to move down into 6th there after that, and now he's got what looks to be Tap on his case here heading into the chicane as well, and great racing happening here in the mid-pack right now as Mike 1972 finds himself now up into 5th place there, making his way around Badass. Now Tap is looking to charge and see if he can do much of the same thing here on Badass as well. We got Ken Neely here in 8th place, we got Type R in 9th, we got Supra here in 10th, we got Bar 27 here in 11th place, and we got Happy Pappy here in 12th position. So it's been an interesting day of racing here so far today at Spa, that's for sure. Alright, so it is Pigham's, and Pigham's has given up a ton of time here to Doug in the last little bit, but Doug's picked up a penalty here. That's interesting. So that's going to stem that charge to the leader here when he has to serve that penalty, and that penalty gets served right after you come out of the Paul for a curve there, so it's a momentum killer where our penalty serving zone at Spa is here today, and what that does is we call that our electronic enforcement penalty serving zone here in the game, and what it does is it cuts the power to the engine to a driver that has a penalty over top of their car or on the screen in front of us here, and it cuts the power for that duration of time. So for half a second when Doug passes that enforcement penalty serving zone, it'll cut the power to his engine, and as soon as that half a second is done, that power is restored to his engine and he can continue on his loud pedal again. But for that half second, he's going to have zero power to that racing car, and it's going to cost him probably a good second and a half all said and done, just because of where our enforcement penalty serving zone today at Spa is. So it is Pigham's in the lead, it's Doug here in 2nd place, and we're going to stick with this just so you can see how costly penalties are here at Spa this weekend. It's really important that you keep the car on the track limits here. Race officials, they are pretty strict here at Spa about track limits, and if you don't keep it right, then they will make you pay the price for it here, and you can see right now they're being generous. They're just handing out half-second penalties, but those penalties will continue to get more aggressive if they continue to do the same thing. So it's funny this car is nerfed into the ground, yet the Mazda is such a meta car, and they're both FF cars. The Mazda is also built differently than the rest of the front-wheel drive cars in the game. The Mazda is not built the same way as the rest of the front-wheel drive models. It is built completely different, so it is a different front-wheel drive physics model than the rest of the front-wheel drive cars are as well. So I'm not sure what they were doing there, but they definitely need to sort the Group 4 class out still, without a question of a doubt. Alright, so you can see there that cost exactly what I said, about a second and a half from Doug Burrow to Pigham's in the lead there. He was 6.6 seconds down when he served that penalty, and now he's he was 2 seconds back once he was back up to speed. So 1.4 seconds he lost out of that half-second track limit penalty. So penalties are really going to be crucial not to get here today. Hair Racers closed up on that battle in the front, so now we've kind of got two little packs developing here around Spa. We got Tap here now up in a 5th place. He's gotten around Mike and Badass here, and he's moved up 2 positions in that last lap. So Mike 1972 is now up into 6th. We got Badass in 7th. We got Type R here in 8th place. We got Ken Neely in 9th. We got Supra here in 10th position. We've got Bar 27 here in 11th place, and we got Happy Pappy here rounding our field in 12th position today. So it is still Pickham's leading the way here. Pardon me, ladies and gentlemen. And he's got 1.8 seconds on Doug. So Doug has good pace. He's been closing in Pickham's every time Pickham starts to open up the gap. So there's definitely the pace here from our 2nd place driver, and obviously our 3rd and 4th place driver in behind here as well, as they are right on this battle. Subi Mark here in 3rd place. We got Hair Razor in 4th place. He's tucked right in behind, and I mean, it's only a half second separating. 1 second, Chad. I need to get a drink of water. A sore throat today. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your patience. Alright, let's get back to racing here. Alright, so it's Hair Razor here in 4th place, and this front pack is a 4-way group, so this is a 4-way battle for the lead. However, for Hair Razor, that 1 second penalty that he's carrying right now is going to be devastating in that chase for the podium here. That's going to put him a couple of seconds back off of that fight, and that's going to put him back in the clutches of, Tap and Mike here now. So Mike is close back up on Tap here, and this is kind of interesting right now in the backpack. Some drivers make a little mistake, and it closes up a couple of the cars again, and then some drivers have a great run, and positions are changing fairly frequently here in the middle of the pack right now, and that's what makes it fun about these TT Cup cars. They really are great racing cars. So side-by-side action here as we got Mike 1972 trying to find his way back around Tap here, and Tap has a good response there. Great defense, takes a nice good solid line through the chicane here, gets a good exit as well leading into lap number 5, and for the time being he holds Mike 1972 off. And behind here we got Badass just in behind these guys here as well, and I'm sure he'd like to get back in the fight here. Nose to tail here as they come around. You can see there's Hair Razor just up in front of Tap and Mike 1972. The gap is 1.6 seconds there. So Hair Razor kind of got stuck in no man's land, so to speak, after having to serve that penalty. Now he's lost touch with that front pack, but he's also now potentially at the mercy of this developing pack in behind him there. Badass coming around the corner there, a little bit of a slide, and that's what we were talking about with the rear tires on these cars here today. It's hard to keep them warm, and in situations where the rear end of the car gets a little bit light, it wants to lose, it wants to go where it wants to go, it wants to do what physics is telling it to do, and you can see the drivers are having to kind of gather these cars up a little bit here and there. And again, that's just due to the air temperature of those rear tires not being at optimal racing condition for these drivers, so the grip level in the rear end is a little bit less than ultimately the drivers would like to have in these cars. We got Bar 27 in 12th, and we got Happy Pappy here in 12th place, and that was a good example. He's just heading up the Au Rouge there in good solid right on the racing line there, and when he came over that rise at the top of the hill through Au Rouge into Lauradion there, you could see the back end of Badass's Audi just kind of slide out a little bit on him there with that little bit of a momentum change in the car. And that is, again, just because those rear tires aren't quite holding optimal race temperature. And again, that has been a complaint from the racing community here this season in this series, so that it's really hard to keep the rear tires warmed up in these racing cars. And we all know at Gran Turismo 7 that air temperature does matter in the game, especially when it comes down to league racing. There is definitely air pressure that is built up in these tires, and when you get the right amount of air pressure in these tires, the cars just feel so good. So we got Soupy Mark now serving the penalty, and that's going to put him back in the clutches of a Hair Razor here, and that's going to take him out of that potential fight for second place here for the time being. So things are changing up front here as these drivers are making their own little subtle mistakes. Pickham's right now 2.4 second gap over Dugborough in second place, who has 4.7 now over Soupy Mark with that penalty, and Soupy Mark has Hair Razor all up in his business. We got Mike 1972 and Tap fighting here in behind as well coming into the chicane, and we got two nice little battles happening here on the racetrack right now. I'm just knocking things over. I'm getting so excited in this booth here. All right, so it's Hair Razor and Subi Mark. This is for 3rd and 4th place, and then just in behind these two, we've got Tap and Mike 1972, and this is a battle for 5th and 6th place. So we got 2 battles in the same pack for positions, and this is really great for the trailing driver. Badass and Type R in behind right now in 7th and 8th place, because if these guys continue to battle like that, that's going to just allow them, who are in clean air, not battling and losing time, to make up some time. And there it is, a penalty there for Subi Mark coming up the second part of our Rouge there into already on. You can see he cut that curb a little too much, and that is a penalty. And well, I told you, track officials here, race control officials here, they are not lenient. They want these drivers to keep these cars on the track, especially these TT Cup cars, that they're not overpowered for the track by any stretch of the imagination. So they really do want the drivers keeping it right. And unfortunately for Subi Mark, that's going to cost him 3rd place here when he comes to serve that penalty to Hair Razor, and potentially even lose position to Mike and Tap here in behind as well. So we're going to jump on board with our 5th place driver here. And we're going to jump right on board actually with our 5th place driver here as we're coming in towards Buon and get an inside look at what it looks like when these drivers have to serve a penalty as well. So there's a couple of things that warn these drivers they have a penalty, depending on what kind of information they have on their screen when they're driving. They can see the penalty above the driver in front of them or behind them, or you'll see the driver pull off the racing line at the penalty serving zone. That's a telltale sign that that driver's about to serve a penalty, or of course the driver's just all of a sudden slow down in front of you and go into what we call ghosting mode, which is a game safety feature, so that there is not unintentional contact from a driver serving a penalty to a driver at race pace. And that's why obviously league rules have regulations is the word I'm looking for in place for that kind of a situation. But you're going to see here how much, big wobble there from Subi Mark up in 3rd place, and there you go. So he's going to lose 3rd place to Hair Razor there. That was a half-second penalty. Mike 1972 got a good run on Tap here. He's going to actually move up the inside. He's going to move it back up into 5th place. He's going to slot up in front of Tap there, and looks like Subi Mark got away with it there, but he is under fire from Mike 1972 here now. Let's jump back up into that battle here. This has become a 3-way battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th place now, with that penalty being served by Subi Mark, and Hair Razor trying to get up the road as quickly as possible here and build that gap on Subi Mark. So Hair Razor currently sitting in 3rd place here now with that penalty from Mark. Mark in 4th, Mike 1972 right in his business right now. He's right up in that personal space bubble and trying to find his way around that purple and white Audi. And then he's got Tap right in behind there as well. And Badass just off in the background there, just a little bit off this pack here right now in 7th place. So it is Subi, and he's doing a great job here, but much like round 1 with the Audis, penalties eventually did get him in trouble by the end of the race. It cost him a podium position, and he's starting it much the same way here today. So he's just got to lock it in and just dial that car back just a tiny little bit there. We got Tap in 6th place. We got Badass here in 7th position. We've got Type R in 8th place. We've got Supra and Happy Pappy still battling, and this is a battle for 9th and 10th place. We got Ken Neely in pit lane, and potential damage repair maybe there for Ken Neely, or pit stop. I'm not really sure, but you can see already that the tire wear is fairly significant here by lap 7 on these hard tires. So there's a good chance we're going to see some tire changes happening on some of these drivers here today as well. Just speculation. Happy Pappy here in 10th place. We've got Kent Neely here in 11th, and he did take a new set of tires, so that was a scheduled pit stop by the looks of it there from Kent Neely. And we got Bar 27 here in 12th place, and just a little off here today is Bar 27, but that's all right. It's tough when you're in a rhythm, and then you have to kind of break your rhythm to do your official work that you need to do behind the scenes, and then you got to try and get back into that rhythm again. It doesn't necessarily always come back, so I think he's just a little out of his rhythm here today. We got Doug Barrow here in 2nd place, and this is a great little mid-pack battle. Let's stick with this here for a minute. And again, it's patient driving in the middle part of these races. It's drivers really just trying not to make the mistakes, right? They want to try and optimize their lap times, and Right now we got a nice spicy little battle between 3rd, 4th, and 5th place. Hair Razor, Subi Mark, and Mike 1972 here. And we can see Taps just lingering in the background. And there we go. Subi's going to take a look. Nope, he's going to tuck right back into the line there. He's going to get some fresh air in the front of that race car for the braking zone. And these guys are going to stay in their respective positions heading up to the start-finish line. Now, they can't see Doug and Pickham's up there, just a few seconds up the road there. You can see Doug just making the corner at La Source there. So how much battling do these guys want to do? And really right now, these guys are in the optimal position here. They've got 3 cars, nose to tail, obviously very equally paced drivers. If they started pushing here right now, I think that would help them catch up to Doug and Pickham's. So let's see what these guys do here. Let's see if they battle, or let's see if we have three competitors work together here for a bigger goal. And that really is always the question in racing when we see this happen. And we got Hair Razor going on the defensive. We got Subi Mark here on the outside, and we got Tap on the outside as well. So a little bit of a battle heading into Lacombe here on lap 8, and this is for 3rd, 4th, and 5th place, and Mark is going to get it done. Now, we've seen Mark make the same move on Hair Razor there at the beginning of the race as well, and he did the identical pass right there on Hair Razor. So he definitely studied his opponent, obviously, and he knows his opponent is a little bit weaker than he is in that corner, and that seems to be the corner he continues to make that move on Hair Razor. So Subi Mark takes over 3rd place. Hair Razor moves down into 4th place, and Mike 1972 still sitting strong here in 5th place, and the gap to Doug Burrow now is 6 seconds. So that tiny little fight, that tiny little battle cost him a second on our 2nd place driver Doug Burrow there, where they were starting to pick down the time. So Subi Mark here in 3rd place. We got Hair Razor in 4th. We got Mike in 5th position. We got Tap here in 6th. We got Badass in 7th. We got Type R here in 8th. We got Supra in 9th. We got Happy Pappy here in 10th. Got Ken Neely in 11th. And we've got Bar here in 12th place. Alright, let's go find us a fight. Really, it's kind of right here at the moment. Alright. So, we're still kind of keeping our eye on this mid-pack here right now. Anything can change in this mid-pack. One penalty, one little mistake, one little slip-up, one little off-track excursion, anything right now. And that could definitely change how this mid-pack is positioned up here. You can see Tap and Badass in 6th and 7th place here are starting to close in here. But you can see, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I noticed there that the skies are looking pretty gray right now as we're heading into La Source there. So I think the crews are probably keeping an eye on that weather radar right now in behind pit lane there, and they're probably keeping in communication. It doesn't look ominous enough to really be that concerned in some parts of the racetrack. And we got a position change here. We got Mike 1972 and Hair Razor battling for 4th and 5th place. And again, this is coming up to Kemmel Straight here. This is a great passing opportunity right here. And of course, Lacombe, another great opportunity for battling, which we've seen Subi Mark pass Hair Razor last lap right here. But we got Mike 1972 just getting it done on the Kemmel Straight there, and just holds the line through Lacombes, and Hair Razor's just going to settle into 5th place here. He's got Tap chasing in 6th place, and it's 1.9 seconds of Badass closing in here too as well, only 1.2 seconds in behind Tap. So this is quickly becoming a 5-way battle at the moment here for that mid-pack. Type R in 8th place. For some reason, he doesn't want to show us his car. Come on, production crew. There we go. We'll give him a little extra love here. Since the TV guys didn't want to find his car, we'll give him a little extra camera love here. Give him a little zoom in shot too, maybe, hey? A little zoom in action. That's a really actually great looking livery right there too from Type R. Nice, clean, crisp. Got Supra, he's coming around here. He's in 9th place. He's got that half-second track limit penalty. That's going to be good for Pappy, chasing it behind 1.5 seconds in behind. Should put Pappy right back on the doorstep. Got Ken Neely here in 11th place. We got Bar 27 rounding out the field here in 12th place. So it is Pickham's. Yeah, the tank slappers. That's kind of the issue with the cold rear tires in this Audi as well. And that's exactly the issue when the rear end decides to kick out. It shifts that fuel load in your car, and well, the tank slapper situation starts to become a factor. Yeah, we all hate the tank slapper, that's for sure. All right, so Doug and Piggums are separated by 4.2 seconds between first and second place. Doug and Super Mark between second and third place are separated by 7. We got Hair Razor and Tap coming into pit lane. Mike 1972 and Super Mark battling for third place here, and Super Mark's going to go in just a little bit later under the brakes there. Mike 1972 is not going to get the position, but he's going to look for the cutback heading up into Eau Rouge here. We are side by side heading down the straightaway, heading into Eau Rouge already on. Who is going to give? All right, so it's going to be Mike 1972 is just going to give it up there. He's going to slot right back in behind Subi Mark, and we are side by side now heading up in towards Lacombe. Mike gets the position very early on here, heading up into the Kemmel Straight, and Subi Mark has no choice here but to sit in and hang it out on the outside. Now, we've seen him comfortable with this line. We've seen him make a couple of passes here already this race on that outside line, but Mike 1972 is going to get the job done. He's going to take third place away from Subi Mark there, and Subi Mark is going to find himself now sitting in behind third place, chasing him back down. Got Badass here in 5th place. He is 2.3 seconds in behind those two right now. We got Type R up into 6th. We got Super here in 7th. We got Pappy in 8th. Hair Razor with the pit stop there now down into 9th position. Got Tap down into 8th. We got Ken Neely here in 11th place. And we got Bar 27 there in 12th position. So it is Piggums here in the lead. We got Doug Barrow here in 2nd place. We got Mike 1972 here in 3rd place. We've got Supi Mark here in 4th, and Badass just in behind, a couple seconds back here. Let's stick with Mark and Mike 1972 here for a minute. This is kind of where a good battle's happening, and it looks like we got a little battle in between Super and Pappy there as well, just a little bit further back on the track here, but we're going to keep our eyes on this just for a moment. And a nice long run here now, so we got a big high-speed sector here before we head up into the chicane to get ready to start lap 11 here. So if there's going to be a potential battle here, it's going to be at the end of this straightaway here. So does Mike go defensive, and what is Mark going to do here? Mike does not go defensive, and Mark is going to take a look up the inside, but Mark goes Mike, pardon me, goes a little bit deeper in, and oh, there we go. Mark had the idea to go into pit lane. He was being followed in with his teammate Badass there. We got Piggums also coming in, so Mike 1972 is going to stay out here in the lead. Doug come in, Piggums come in, Mark come in, Badass came in, so we have 4 drivers currently in pit lane. We got Type R here sitting in the 2nd position as he goes around one more time, whereas Pappy has also decided to stay out. There he is, and he's just heading into the source here, so Pappy now up into 3rd place here on lap number 11 here of our race today. So it is Mike 1972 leading the charge here, and 8-second gap over Type R here now, who's sitting in 2nd place. It's almost 10 seconds to Pappy. So Piggums, who was our race leader when he made the pit stop, finds himself 24 seconds in behind Mike and about 6 seconds in behind Happy Pappy. We got Doug here in 5th place. He's 5.5 seconds in behind. We got Hair Razor 6.8 seconds in behind Doug. We got Mark 1.3 seconds in behind Hair Razor. We got Badass 2 seconds in behind Mark. We got Tap a second in behind Badass. We got Supra 12 seconds in behind these guys. Ken Neely is about 6 seconds off him, and Barr is about 7 seconds off of him here, and just having a tough racing day here at Spa today. That's unfortunate, Aaron, my dude. That's unfortunate. Never like to see that, my guy. My production crew's not going to the right cars today. Having some issues with the game lately. Alright, so Pigham's here, 4.4 seconds off of Happy Pappy. We've got Doug here. He's kind of all alone right now. Got Hair Razor, Subi. And the gap's about staying consistent right now, so nobody really gaining on anybody here at the moment as the drivers come around the racetrack here. So Mike's going to come into pit lane now. Looks like Type R is going to go around again here. He is. He's just going to continuing on. So he is going to take over the race lead here. And this will be like the fifth different race leader here so far today at Spa. So that just goes to show it how closely competitive these cars really can be, and pit strategy is obviously playing a factor here as well. Got Pappy, he's going to stay out as well, so he's in second place here right now. Pigham's moves up into third place after his pit stop, so he does get the jump on Mike. Whereas Doug comes out, he's into La Source right now, and will grab fourth place as he comes around here as well. So Hair Razor here in fifth place should potentially grab that spot as well. Maybe not. Mike might be coming out of pit lane. There he is. He is just coming out, and he's actually going to come out just in between Hair Razor and Subi Mark here. So he comes out in sixth place there. So a long pit stop there for Mike 1972, and Subi Mark actually just slots in ahead there, heading up into our Rouge, and again might pick up that track limit penalty there for that curb, but I think race control let him get away with that one. Badass in 8th place. We got Tap here in 9th. Super here in 10th position. Ken Neely rocking and rolling here in 11th. And we got Bar here in 12th place. So we got Type R here rocking and rolling right now. And oh, the Happy Pappy I got on here right now. Pardon me. Type R, our race leader here right now, rocking and rolling. And it is 12 seconds to Pigham's here right now. So when he does finally make a pit stop, he will most likely give that race lead back up. It'll be interesting to see where he comes out, because he's not going to have to take all that much fuel if he continues to stretch this stint out like he is. It would be a fun daily for sure, but the problem with Basters is the random drivers and the mountain. That's my big concern with Mount Panorama in a daily race. In all honesty, that's about the only concern, other than the fact that Mount Panorama is Mount Panorama. But yeah, just one race at a time. The thing is we got to stop worrying about our DR and our SR in these daily races, because sometimes it's just beyond our control. Sometimes we're just going to tank DR in a race and there's nothing we can do about it. It just happens, dude. It happens. Alright, so it is Type R here as he comes around. Right now the fastest man on the racetrack is Pigham's. It's a 2:30.326 here coming from him around the racetrack here today. But Type R seems to be in no hurry to hit that pit lane. Happy Pappy going into the pit box there, which will get Pigham's up into second place now. And Pigham's now finds himself 10 seconds in behind Type R. So that has Doug here moving up into third place. Pappy is in pit lane. Hair Razor, Subi Mark, and Mike 1972 are all going to grab spots here as well as they come around. We've got Tap and Badass in behind there. They're going to grab those positions here, I believe, as well with that pit stop from Pappy. So nice little fight here between these three again. These three have been having some good battles so far this season. It's a very young season here. We got Tap and Badass here nose to tail as well. So we got a couple of groups here to keep our eyes on right now as this race continues to progress. And is Subi going to get the job done heading into Lacombe? We are side by side, and Hair Razor on the outside line, but that will give him the inside if he can hold out, and he cannot. And Mark is going to get the job done on Hair Razor for a third time coming into Lacombes here at this race. So again, that seems to be his corner of choice for passing Hair Razor today. Subi Mark is Lacombe there, so Hair Razor finds himself in fifth place, and now he's under fire from Mike 1972 here in sixth place. So you never like to drop down the field in positions, but there's still plenty of racing left. There's still just a little under 28 minutes remaining in today's race yet, so we still have quite a few laps to go here, about another 8 or 9 laps. around this beautiful racetrack here in Belgium today. So the sun is shining, the clouds have dispersed here on the racetrack, and the drivers have really got a warming racetrack underneath them, which is going to be good for those rear tires. Trying to help these guys keep a little more temperature in those rear tires should help settle the race cars down a little bit for these drivers. All right, let's get through our field here. Let's go see what we see. Patient driving. You can see that Ballard getting slapped around there by Mike. We got Tap here in 7th. The Badass is right on his tail here in 8th place. We got Supra in 9th. Track limit penalty. We got Ken Neely and Happy Pappy here battling it out for 10th and 11th place right now on the racetrack as well. Let's stick with this for a minute here, as it doesn't matter where in the pack the battle's happening. A battle's a battle, and we got to see it. That's just the way it is. Good racing happens all through a racing pack, so that's the point, is just for these guys to go out, have some fun, have some good battles, and take a little bit of experience from every racetrack every week. Alright, so Ken Neely is doing a good job here right now. He's got 0.8 of a second on Happy Pappy and behind chasing. So it is Type R here, and pretty good job here. He's going to stretch that fuel load out to about 35-minute mark of this race almost. So it'll be interesting to see if we're going to see more stops coming from some of the drivers here. This might be a case of 1 versus 2 stop strategies here again as well in the race today. It's still 6.3 seconds from Type R to Piggums, so Piggums has been closing in, but not as quickly as I'm sure he was hoping. Dugborough here just maintaining that gap to Piggums right now. Soupy Mark has broken free from Hairraiser and Mike a little bit here, and he's 7.2 seconds from the podium, but he's got almost 3/4 of a second here now from Mike and Hairraiser, but they didn't battle there. They just stayed nose to tail heading up to Kemmel Straight there, and that really helped them close that gap up, and a little bit of bump drafting work between those two drivers there, and that really kept them in the clutches right now of Soupy Mark here. So that was some good strategy play right there by those two coming up the Kemmel Straight this time around. We got Tap and Badass here. These guys are just chilling in 7th and 8th place here. They're not really battling it out. They're just moving and grooving. Oh, and the Super gets it a little bit wrong there as he had a wide entry into Lacombe's there, and he went for a little bit of a wild ride through the second part, but he got the car back underneath of him, and that's going to cost some time to Ken Neely and Pappy chasing here in 10th and 11th place. So potentially a 3-way battle there now for those guys, and we got Bar 27 here in 12th place right now. And again, I can't help but feel like he just got a little bit rattled at the beginning of the race there, having to deal with the random driver who out on track, and I feel like he just hasn't fully gotten back into his racing rhythm here today, but that's okay. We're out here to have fun, and that's the most important thing here. So it is Type R still leading the way. Nala, how you doing? Welcome in. Appreciate the thumbs up on the stream. Yeah, I hope not, Aaron. I hope not. I do have a G29 though, dude. I mean, there's community members. We got wheels kicking around. If you need a wheel, man, you just gotta let us know. We'll get you one. We got Dugborough here in 3rd place. Again, just maintaining the gap right now to the leader. Type R finally coming into pit lane, so there it is on lap number 14. Type R's finally got to make the dive here, and that's going to give Piggums the race lead back. It's going to give Dugborough overall 2nd place back here. That's going to give Subi Mark, Hairraiser, and Mike 1972 3rd, 4th, and 5th place overall back here, as well as they all come across the line. And these three have been nose to tail pretty much all race long here. So good battling happening here between these three guys right now on the racetrack. Got Tap and Badass here in 6th and 7th place as well, now moving up a spot with that pit from Type R. And Type R still had a pretty good fuel load in that car. That was he did good there managing that fuel. Super here in 9th place. He's got Ken Neely at 1.9 seconds in behind in closing, and Happy Pappy here in 11th with Bar 27 here in 12th place, and just not having a good day here today. Having a rough race. It happens to the best of us. Alright, so it is Piggums here with the race lead as he comes down into Brussels for the 15th time here today. And we still have 13 minutes remaining on the clock here. So we got Dugborough here in 2nd place. We got Subi Mark here in 3rd. We got Hairraiser in 4th, and Mike 1972 here in 5th. And this is kind of where the action is developing here right now, leading in towards the end of our race here. I think this is going to be an all-out brawl between these three here for that final podium position right now. They have a little bit of distance to make up on Doug here. I mean, it's still 7 seconds and they're running out of time. So at some point the battle is going to happen between these three here. We got Tappin' Badass in 6th and 7th place, and these two are just genuinely just running their race here right now. It seems like they're fairly evenly paced drivers, and it just means that they're not battling and they're not really costing each other time. So they're not out of this race yet, potentially either. We have Type R here in 8th place. We've got Supra in 9th. We've got Ken Neely in 10th. He's having a good race here today. I hope he's really happy with his result here. He's one of our new drivers here at the Gran Turismo racing community this season. Doesn't necessarily mean that he's an inexperienced driver by any means. I'm not exactly sure what the full details of this driver are myself personally, but we always love to see new faces league racing here, and this is the case with this driver here. So he's new to the series this season, and he's out on track every week, and he gives her no matter what. And you know what, he's slowly but surely continuing to find those little improvements in his racecraft, and is showing on the racetrack with a top 10 here currently right now. Happy Pappy here in 11th. We got Bar 27 in 12th place, so good job to Ken Neely. Little love there for our boy. Alright, so it's Pigham's leading the way. 5.4 seconds is the gap. Doug's dipping into it a little tiny bit here and there. Chipping away a few hundreds here, a few hundreds there. Got Subi here. He's giving up a little bit of time to Doug Burrow actually up in front here, and trying now to open up that gap again on Hairraiser and Mike. He's got it to 1.2, so he has broken the slipstream right now essentially on these two back here. So giving himself a little bit of breathing room leading into the just under 11 minutes remaining in this race. But we all know that that doesn't mean anything here at Spa. Anything can happen very quickly at this racetrack. We got Tap here still in 6th with Badass still in 7th and behind here. And they can see those guys up there, so they know they're not out of this thing yet. There is potential there for more positions to be gained. We got Type R here in 8th. And he's in no man's land at the moment right now in 8th place. We got Ken Neely up at the 9th place here now, so he's made his way around Supra now here as well, and he's got Super tracking here in 10th place. So again, a little bit of consistency here as well coming from Ken Neely, and it's paying off with positions. Because this is consistency, pardon me, is always key to any kind of endurance racing. You need to have consistent lap times. You wanna have a good tight grouping in lap times, and that consistency will reward you typically throughout a long distance race. So it is Pigham's here, and he is in the race lead. It's 5.6 seconds, so he's gained a couple tenths back on Doug Burrow. Doug's given a little bit of time up on 3rd place driver Subi Mark here in behind, but I mean, it's still 6.5 second plus gap right now. It's going to be a tough pull to gain that much time on Doug. We got Hairraiser and Mike 1972, and that's it. His fight on here for 4th and 5th place, and this is good for a 3rd place driver. This little bit of battle is just allowing him to open up a little more of a gap on these two as they go, as they make a position swap here. So Mike 1972 moves up into 4th place. We got Hairraiser now finds himself in 5th place here, and there's some great battling going on here, especially in this just off the podium part of the group here today. Pigham's still in the lead. We got Doug Burrow coming around here at 2nd place for him. It's Subi Mark here in 3rd place. All three of these drivers currently not any pressure in behind. However, our 3rd place driver out of the three has the closest amount of pressure at the moment, with Mike and Hairraiser just 3 seconds in behind. And just that little battle really did take them away from that fight for 3rd place. So now we got Tappin' Badass here, and these two are nose to tail here as we start lap number 17. And with 8.5 minutes remaining on the clock here, it is starting to wind down here. So drivers are going to start to try and make up any ground they can here on the racetrack now. And Tap is a very good racer here as well. So unfortunately for this driver, his work tends to take him away from the racetrack, but he just gets here when he can, and he gets on track and competes as much as he can. But if that driver could compete in a full season, I think he would be right near the top fighting in those overall podium positions by the end of the season. He's got a really good pace. Happy Pappy here in 10th place. We got Ken Neely here in 11th, so a little mistake must have been made by Ken. That's unfortunate, but he's still having a good run here today. And we got Bar 27 here in 12th. A little bit of a struggle run here for him today, but you know what? That's all right. That's racing. Can't win them all, that's for sure. We try. We all know. We got Pigham's. He's 6 seconds up in the lead here right now. He has a pretty commanding gap over Doug at the moment. Now, it's not a cushion, it's just a gap. a little bit of a comfort zone for Piggums, probably having 6 seconds, but Piggums knows just as well as any real racer knows that 6 seconds can diminish very quickly with a little mistake. We got Soupy Mark here in 3rd place, and we got Mike 1972 there in 4th place, and he absolutely went way wide coming out of campus there, and he's going to be rewarded with a half-second track limit infringement there. So that's unfortunate for him. That's going to allow Hair Razor to potentially climb back into that battle for 4th place. We got Tap here at 6th and 7th place. Badass still very close in behind. So these two have been just chilling all second stint, and about looking like they're ready to fight it out here for that 7th and 8th positions here before the end of this race as well. So we got some good stuff happening here, developing on the racetrack by the end of this race. So it is Piggums in the lead as he comes around to start lap number 18. That leaves us with 6.5 minutes left on the clock. So to give us about 3 to go here. So 21 laps here. Looks like we're going to see today. We got Doug Burrow here in 2nd place as he comes around. We've got Soupy Mark coming here. It's going to be a 3rd place finish here, or not finish, 3rd place as he comes around to start lap number 18. Got Mike 1972 here in 4th place. We got Hair Razor very close now, 1.7 seconds. So a penalty definitely helped him close up here. We got Tap and Badass here, still only a car length separating these two drivers, and it's been like that for about the last 3 or 4 laps here. And again, this is just patient driving right now. They're not battling, they're not compromising, they're just trying to race their race. Type R here in 8th place. We got Supra in 9th, and Happy Pappy closing in here in 10th place. So a little battle potentially developing there before the end of the race. We got Ken Neely in 11th. We got Bar 27 here in 12th place. So it is Piggums here, and he is, well, he's just in command. I mean, that's just all there is to it. 6.3 seconds right now. Fuel's looking good. Doug Burrow, much of the same thing. 5.8 second gap to Soupy Mark. That half-second track limit penalty is not going to help his cause any, but it's not going to hurt him that much either, so should leave him in 2nd place. Got Soupy Mark here in 3rd place, and same thing for him. Fuel looking pretty good. Mike 1972 has what looks like what to be way too much fuel here. We got Hair Razor here in 5th place. We've got Tap in 6th. We've got Badass here in 7th position. We've got Type R in 8th place. We've got Super here in 9th. Got Pappy in 10th. Ken Neely here in 11th, and Bar 27 rounding out our fields. 12 started, 12 still on track, and that is what we love to see. That is the most important thing. All our drivers on track and at least getting their seat time in. No disconnects here so far, knock on wood. We still have a few minutes remaining, but it is Piggums with the race lead here, and it just continues to open the gap up. Now the gap's really going to grow there with that penalty. You can see it's going to go to a little over 8 seconds here by the time Doug gets back up to speed and gets around Blochemont there. So that's unfortunate there for Doug, but again, it didn't really hurt him here. He gave up a little bit of time to Soupy Mark, gave him up about a second, 1.2 seconds there to him in behind in 3rd place. But as it stands right now, it's not enough to hurt him, but Soupy Mark's there. I mean, you can see him now. He's closing in, so it might be a little too late now with only 4 minutes left on the clock, but racing's racing. Anything can happen. We got Mike in 4th place. We got Hair Razor here in 5th. Tap still in 6th place with Badass right in behind him there in 7th place as we head into the chicane for what's going to be the 2nd last time here today. Got Type R in 8th. Supra here in 9th position as well. We've got Pappy here in 10th. Ken Neely in 11th place, and Bar 27 rounding out our field here. So we got Piggums here heading up Au Rouge Radion for the 2nd last time here today. We got Doug Burrow heading up into Radion right now himself, and ooh, a little bit of a wide corner there. That might be a track limit penalty as we head up to Kemmel Straight here for Doug Burrow. Let's see, they usually picks that up right about here if they're going to give it to him. Looks like he got away with one there. Got Soupy Mark here in 3rd place, and 3.5 seconds is the gap. Can he close it? Mike 1972 here in 4th. Hair Razor in 5th. We got Tap and Badass in 6th and 7th place, and this is kind of the closest 2 cars we have here right now, and they're not really fighting. These guys have been just driving smart all 2nd stint. They've just sat in behind each other and just continued to work together. They haven't battled each other, which means they've cost each other 0 time in this last stint, and they haven't had any opposition from behind them either due to it. We got Type R in 8th, Super in 9th, Pappy in 10th. and a potential battle there yet before the end of the race for 10th place here. So we'll be kind of keeping our eyes on as much of this as we can here. Piggums has a pretty sizable lead, 8.3 seconds. Subi Mark, 3.4 seconds. He's trying to reel Doug in, but again, the clock is just not in his favor here. When these guys come around the start-finish line, it'll be white flag racing here. So barring a mistake from Doug at this point, I don't... Ooh, big slide there from Mike 1972, and again, that's them cold rear tires on these cars. The car just acted out, you know, that rear end, just a little too much momentum, and gravity took over, physics took over a little bit there. So he gathered that car back up though, so that was a good job there from Mike, and that could have cost him there. His Hair Razor's not too far behind, and neither is Tap and Badass, as they are pretty much still separated only by a car length, the two of them here on the racetrack. So let's get on board with Piggums here as he's coming into the chicane for the second last time here today, and it's going to be white flag racing this time around. So lap number 20 here, and it is a white flag for our race leader. Final lap here, ladies and gentlemen. It is Doug Burrow here in second place. He's got 8.5 seconds in behind Piggums here, and again, no pressure right now, no immediate pressure, but you can probably see Mark here. But that gap is 4.6 seconds, so Doug has opened some time back up there on Mark in third place. Mike 1972, 4.2 seconds back of the third place driver. We got Hair Razor here in fifth place, and he's 4 seconds back. We got Tap and Badass there. They're only 2.2 seconds back of Hair Razor here. So, could see some battles before the end of this race. Yeah, we got Type R, Supra, Happy Pappy, 8th, 9th, 10th. All fairly close together here. Supra taking a look on the outside into the chicane there, but I think that was just to try and get a good setup. And oh, are we going to see... I thought we were going to see a pit stop from Supra late there. I thought maybe he ran short on fuel, but right now it is a Type R here, and he's holding strong here in 8th place, but Supra is looking to try and get the position. He's going to go deep into Lesource. He's going to go real late on the brake show. That might have been a little too late there, and he's actually going to lose the position there to Happy Pappy. So Happy Pappy's going to be like, thank you very much, mate. I'll take 9th place away, and this is real good news for Type R right now, as now he has Pappy and Supra battling in behind him. So let's get back up front here to our race leader. Make sure we're not missing anything juicy here. We're just going to try to keep our eyes on this pack here. It's hard because the arrows are all very close together. How you doing, Riley? How you doing, my man? All the way from Australia. Absolute legend. Piggums here is looking like he's going to take this thing home here, but he's still got a few corners to go, so he's got to get through campus safe and sound here. And again, the second S sector of the racetrack, and you can see he's even battling the rear end of that Audi Cup car a little bit there. You can see that thing really kind of wiggling, even coming into the corners there. He's really fighting that car to get the rear end to rotate with the front end to keep it in a straight line, so to speak. So the tires definitely affecting cold rear tires affecting these racing cars around Spa here today, but the drivers have handled it pretty well for the most part. So it is Piggums here right now, and we're going to stay on board with our race leaders. He's heading up in through towards Blois-Chamon for the last time there, and as we get through Blois-Chamon, he's just got 2 corners remaining, ladies and gentlemen, for round 2 victory here. And that would be back-to-back TT Cup victories here for Piggums to start this season off here as well. So as he comes around the final corner, it is going to be a round 2 victory here for 10/10 Piggums. Great job to him. Congratulations. It's going to be Team Rad's Doug Burrow here to take things home in the second place as well. And a great job to Doug as always. And we've got 10/10 Subi Mark to round out our podium here today. It's going to be Mike 1972 falling just short here today. Much of the same thing last week where he took 3rd and Subi Mark just fell off in 4th there. So we got Hair Razor holding on to 5th. Tap gave the charge in 6th place. A Badass right there in tow in 7th. So great finish by those 3 drivers. Got Happy Pappy, and Happy Pappy is now finding himself up into 8th place. So Happy Pappy's gotten around Type R, and he's still holding Supra off. We got 2 corners left, and we got a 3-way battle here for 8th, 9th, and 10th place. Now Type R's a little bit behind this pack, but boy, if something happens between these guys here, it is going to kick off. And Supra took the big lunge there. We all see it coming there, and Happy Pappy's going to be like, again, thank you very much, mate. I'll take that position. He's going to get 8th place there. Type R is going to just edge him out there for 9th place. The Supra's going to give up 10th place there. So big bold move there from Supra, but he just could not hold the corner. And Happy Pappy and Type R are going to take advantage there and squeeze their way around. So that was some pretty good racing right there by our TT Cup community. Ooh-wee. All right. Unofficial results, here it is. TT Pickens with the win and fastest lap on the racetrack. It's going to be Doug in second, Mark in third, Mike in fourth, Hairraiser in fifth, Tap in sixth, Badass in seventh, and Happy Pappy in eighth place. Ninth place will be Type R, Supra in 10th position, Ken Neely in 11th, and Bar 27 there in 12th position here today. Some tough racing out there for some of the guys out there today, but GG's to all of our racers. All right, so let's go right here. While we get set up for some podium interviews. And we'll talk to our podium finishers here in just a moment's time. All right, so we are in the booth here. And we'll just give a couple minutes, obviously, for our drivers. It takes a little bit of time to get out of the race car and all that great jazz, obviously. So we'll allow them to do their thing. Obviously, celebrate with their teams and all that great stuff. Was it right on the radar at the end? It was starting to look a little ominous there. It was starting to look a little ominous out there for sure. So there we go. One of the drivers just coming in confirming that rain was on the way to the racetrack there. It just did not quite get there in time before the race ended there. So lucky for the drivers having to make that late race decision. Let's go, TT. Good job, guys. How's it going, Rise? How you doing, my guy? Samantha Kennedy, appreciate you. Riley, appreciate that thumbs up. Nala, Aaron as well, the thumbs up on the streams. Appreciate y'all. All right. Maybe nobody wants to come hang out with us today, chat. That's okay. We're okay with that too. And just as I say that, a whole bunch of drivers pop on in here. So, Mark's usually eating dinner around this time, so it's hard to catch him during the interviews. So, yeah. And Pigham's is off to his next race, so we won't see our race winner. We do have Doug here, and I see Hairraiser in here. I'm assuming to talk on behalf of somebody here again, but we'll start with him first. All right, just hold on here, chat. I gotta click a few buttons, all that great stuff. So you all can hear these guys. I can hear them. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So let's have a little chatsies with a couple of our drivers here. So we got Hairraiser here, and I'm assuming he's here to talk on behalf of somebody here. So we'll give the floor to Hairraiser first. So we'll just let you take over, my man, and do your thing, my dude. Congratulations on a good race. Just finding yourself a little off the podium here, but stuck in a really great battle all race long in that three-way fight there. Talk us through it.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mark and Mike couldn't be in the interviews on the podiums, but anyway, they've told me to be on their behalf, and they were just saying what a cracking race it was between the three of us. Obviously, we couldn't quite get close enough at some stages. And tyre wear was an issue. My tyres had gone by. uh, definitely by lap 10 they were like halfway down, and they weren't gripping at all, and same with the other two. But they did really well, to be fair. What can I say? One day I'll get on that podium, but it's a battle at the moment.
And I mean, that's just goes to show that the pace and the competitiveness of the community is growing, and of course that's always not a bad thing as well. And I mean, you've been having a good racing season here as well yourself. You're just off those steps right now, so I'm sure it's just a matter of time before you get that right combo and you break through and get back onto that podium yourself. But nonetheless, still putting on a good show for the fans out there today. And yeah, we had the Paddocks let a random through there at the beginning of the race there as well, which is unfortunate. But great job by race control to handle that situation there. And I mean, overall, pretty good racing. 12 drivers start, 12 drivers finish here today, and the weather was really kind of ominous out there today. It was sunny, then it was cloudy, then it was sunny, then it was cloudy. What was that like as you guys were ripping around? Were the crew chiefs there kind of giving you guys that information, like, no, we're good on the weather radar, just keep pushing, or was that in the back of your mind, like, oh boy, is rain coming here today?
Yes, we was. It got a bit cloudy at one stage, and then we got onto the radar on the pit crew, and yes, it looked like rain was coming, and the lights, the lights came on the cars, and it's like, right, I think we're going to get ready for rain here, and then it vanished, and then a bit later on, not long after, it went cloudy again, and yes, the rain cloud did come in, but it just missed the track. So yeah, it was a bit touch and go there with the rain, but it managed to stay away and keep us nice and dry.
Absolutely, and probably to the thankfulness of the racers on the racetrack, especially late in the race, to have rain drop in and force the drivers to make that decision would have been a little bit interesting for sure, to say the least. But great racing out there. And as one of the administrators and one of the officials of the series here, I guess anything you want to add so far, very early on in the two seasons here we've had running.
Yeah, there's some really good races this season. Even from Pappy and Simon and the boys from the previous AM divisions. They've done really, really well for the two races that we've had so far. Congratulations to all the boys who race. They do really, really well, and hopefully they'll, even myself, racing them, you can tell that they've got a lot stronger in defending and pulling away, and they've done really, really well, and I'm pleased for them. And can I just also add that it's my wife's birthday today, and I just want to wish her congratulations.
Well, there we go. Well, happy birthday to Miss Razor from the community in GT45 as well. But good, great racing out there today, and congratulations to Mark on his third place here today, and maybe it'll be your third place or better next round.
So, bud. Oh, and congratulations to Doug and Pigham there for the podium. I'm sure they battled really hard.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. And as
Thank you very much.
cheers, brother. Cheers. And speaking of, we'll talk to our second place finisher here, Doug, right now. I mean, no stranger to podium interviews. This guy, we talk to him almost every week, in one of these podium spots, anyways. And he has really not had an answer for Pigums here over the last few racing rounds this season, and in the dying rounds of the last season here too as well. So still chasing that man down, trying to steal those wins away from him right now. But nonetheless, really great racing from you here today, and it looked like a pretty solid race from you. Like just a couple of penalties on track that might have maybe slowed you down on that chase to first place early on there. But overall, you had a good pace and you managed the race pace fairly well. And unfortunately, just didn't quite have an answer for first place here today. But talk us through your race and how'd the car feel out there today?
It was a good race. It started off well. I was keeping a reasonable distance to Pig. You're right. I had no answer to him in this race. He was super quick. But I made a couple of little mistakes which opened the gap up beyond slipstream, which is what I was hoping to just stay in, was his slipstream. And then I got a silly little penalty, which just from there on in, it was just trying to manage the gap, trying to save a little bit of fuel. And I saved a little bit, but not enough to make a difference in the pit. Um, yeah, it was good. I was hoping for that rain to come in at the end. When I saw it, I thought, well, it's going to be the last 7 minutes or so max, maybe 5 minutes that the rain hits the track. That's 2 laps. If someone risked it and it came down heavy, and someone else didn't, then they'd make it up on that last lap, sort of thing. But it, as Razor said, it just dissipated and changed the outcome. But the last couple of laps, where the track got cold and then the sun came out, I don't know what it was. The car was just sliding everywhere. So at that point, I was just watching the gap back to Mark, because I know Mark's pretty rapid. Especially after that second penalty that I got. I think I only got 2 in that race. Especially after that second penalty I got, that was like, oh God, where did that come from? And yeah, managed to keep that gap at the end to a reasonable distance, a non-worry distance. Piggy had that gap at the front where he could have made mistakes by the end of it, and it would have been fine, But he's solid round here. It's not the best track for the pad, so I feel I did okay. Me and Mark did fantastic, considering. So yeah, hopefully, I mean, any win I get against Piggy will be a steal. It won't be a because he's not quicker than me, or or that it wasn't. It will be just that he's made a big mistake and I've managed to capitalize on it. I think if I can get in front, I can hold him there. But if he's ahead, for me at the moment, because I'm struggling, for me at the moment, it's not because I'm struggling, because he'd be there anyway, but I'm not well at the moment, so I'm not quite on my pace. So if he gets ahead, that's it, I'm done for. So yeah, no, well done to Piggy, well done to Mark, well done to Mike and Razor, because from what I could see, looking back at the names and the gaps and things, they were changing place quite a lot. So, and I heard Mike say he was just a sniff away from third place at the end of that race again. So, yeah, good one. Sorry, babbling on.
Yeah, it really
did that a
was. The fourth, fifth, sixth place battle throughout the majority of the race was quite close and quite tight, and those cars weren't overly separated by a whole lot for a large part of the race. Then near the end of the race, we had a couple extra guys closing in on that battle as well. So another lap or two on the clock, and we may have seen a 5-way battle potentially for fourth place there at the end of the race. So it was definitely most
Another lap
certainly
or
a
two
good
on the clock,
race.
you probably would have seen a battle for second. I was really struggling at the end of the race. The car was so loose.
It was, and
So,
we were following on Pigham's there that last lap, and we were actually making note of that on the broadcast. You could see the rear end of the car fighting the front end of the car. It wanted to go in a different direction. You could see in Pigham's, having to really yank his steering wheel to get the rear end of the car to kind of rotate with the front end of the car. So again, struggling a little bit to keep those rear tires warm in the car and creating that sliding effect.
That's
but
the thing. There were no, even at the first pit stop and at the end of the race, I didn't really see blue on the tyres at the rear. Unlike Red Bull, this has got some nice long straights where the tyres get to really warm up. So it wasn't. I don't think it was so much that. I just think it was the point that the front tyres got to just made the car unbalanced, and it would cause the rear end's a little bit happy anyway if you let it. So I think that just the combination of the two just caused the overall effect. Because at least for my rear tyres, I didn't really have any blue by the end of the race. I mean, it might have been slightly starting to change, but it's nowhere like the shorter circuits, the Red Bulls and the Nürburgring Sprint that's coming up. And well, I don't know when it's coming up, but I know it's coming up. Those shorter tracks, really, those rear tyres really do get cold. But it wasn't like that here. It wasn't anywhere near as bad as that here.
Well, there you go. Coming right from a racer's point of view, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry.
What else can I say? We just speculate. I mean, we don't. We don't know. I mean, we're sitting in the booth. I mean, we're not sitting in these race cars. We're only ever really speculating what you guys are dealing with while you guys are under these conditions on the racetrack. So it's nice to have a little bit of driver's insight when it comes to some of these situations. On the racetrack, especially with a track like Spa, where today the weather was constantly changing. It was sunny, it was cloudy, then it was cooling, then it was sunny again. That happened quite a few times throughout the racetrack here today. So definitely tough racing conditions at Spa, and but nonetheless, great racing. And I guess anything you want to add to your race today, and any shout outs you'd like to throw out there to the community watching at home?
Yeah, I was just glad. I mean, Spa's one of those iconic circuits, and there was a few people who go, "Why have we got Spa?" But I believe it's created some really good racing. Gives the cars a chance to stretch their legs a bit, and okay, if the car gets away, it gets away. But it was, I think, it's a great track, and we've got a couple of other bigger tracks, so gives this little Audi a chance to really stretch. And I know you like watching the Audis. I know you like the Audis. I think you do. I might be wrong, but yeah, no. So, firstly, I'd like to thank yourself. You do a fantastic job as always. It's great having you on board. I hope you enjoyed the racing. Secondly, I'd like to thank yourself for being part of the community and helping us go in different directions and things like that, and trying to help us further the community, which is fantastic. I'd like to congratulate Mark and Piggy again. Fantastic job. I want to apologise to Piggy for not being able to give him a race. A lot of our short races have been very close at the front between 3 or 4 of us. It could have gone any way, but I mean, this big race, he really stretched his legs. So well done to Piggy. And yeah, thanks to everyone who's watching. If there were people watching, I'd like to say happy birthday to Mrs. Penfold. For anyone who knows who Penfold is, they'll get that joke. And just everybody keep enjoying what they're doing, and stay safe and all that. Yeah, thank you.
Well, I appreciate you. I mean, another one of our officials behind the scenes here at the GTRC with Doug Bro as well. The teamwork makes the dream work, and really, really great racing seasons here so far. I mean, it's very early in our seasons here with round 2 in the books in both the Group 2 and the the TT Cup series. I cannot talk today. But nonetheless, 4 really spectacular races here from the GTRC community, and I think that's just a sign, like I said, the hair raiser of the growth of the community and the competitiveness of the community, and drivers learning from the seat time from these races that you guys continue to put on each week for the community as well. So much love to you guys behind the scenes, and what else can we say? Thank you to the volunteers. Most importantly, can't do it without the volunteers, ladies and gentlemen. We can't do it without the safety officials and all the track crews and everybody behind the scenes, and that makes these things go around. They're the unsung heroes of any kind of organized event, no matter what it is in life. The volunteers are always the unsung heroes. So thank you to the volunteers behind the scenes that do all the little things to help these things go around, and thank you to the viewers. We wouldn't have broadcasts to put out there live on everybody's TVs if it wasn't for the amazing viewers at home watching and coming to show and support and cheer for their favorite racers. So we appreciate everybody in that sense as well. But congratulations on another great race, and we'll see you next week in Group 2s. All right, so pretty quiet race today. It was very calculated for the most part. It's a big racetrack. The pace of the drivers ultimately kind of separated the field out a little bit, but that still made for great pack battling throughout our track here today. We did speculate that the big racetrack was going to be a little bit difficult for these cars. Draft was going to be important, and that was actually just a prime case of our first and second place finishers. Doug lost that draft early on in the race, and it was a matter of trying to manage the gap to the leader, and he just slowly and surely continued to open it up little bit by little bit by little bit to the point where he won with about a 9-second overall race gap here. So congratulations to 1010's Pigums. He's a pretty cool, calm, collected gentleman and a racer. He would thank the whole driving community for being here and showing up and racing today, and he would thank everybody for the great race. He would thank the GTRC for the great platform to race at. And of course, he would thank, I'm sure, myself for the commentaries he always does, and he would thank 1010 Sim Racing for doing what they do. But Pickums is a class act driver. He understands the game. He understands the cars. And he shows it week in and week out on the racetrack, always putting up the best performance that he can on the racetrack, and yielding great result here with back-to-back wins in our Audi TT Cup series here to start the season, this season at GTRC. So looking good to defend that championship title he's coming in after last season's Mini Cooper series as well. Just edging out that championship over Doug Burrow there last season. So defending champion looking strong here in our Audi TT Cup series. And does anybody have an answer for TT Pickums? Well, we'll have to wait to find out in 2 weeks' time. We are back with our top Cup guys. So We will have a 1-hour endurance in 2 weeks' time, ladies and gentlemen, at Goodwood Motor Circuit in these TT Cup cars. That one should be a fun one. Short, little circuit, going to be very difficult with a bunch of these TT Cup cars on there. And, well, it should be interesting. Goodwood always makes for fun racing. It is an absolute iconic racetrack in the United Kingdom, and always makes for fun racing, especially with these Group 4 cars. So we should expect to see some pretty good battling happening at Goodwood Motor Circuit on, that'd be what, March 10th? With our top TT Cup cars. So we will be back live next week at 3 p.m. Eastern Time with round 3 of our Group 2 series. That series is absolutely hot, high flying, door-to-door racing action for the first 2 rounds so far this season. If you don't know what we're talking about, you are missing out, ladies and gentlemen. Don't miss next week's race at 3 p.m. Eastern Time right here from the GTRC community, broadcast live on the Gran Turismo Racing community YouTube and the GT45 Gaming Facebook and YouTube channels. Of course, commentary done by yours truly, GT45 Gaming, family-friendly broadcast for these style of broadcasts so that everybody can get involved. Come cheer on your favorite racer, especially those 1010 sim racers. And we love you all very, very much. We appreciate you all. Thanks for coming out as always. If you haven't liked to share this out yet, before you do so, before you leave, that'd be fantastic. If you could just hit those couple buttons, a couple things you can do real quick for free to help us grow our pages and continue to find more people to come watch this great racing action. Thank you very much. Remember, you all matter. Don't keep it in. Find somebody to talk to. Even if you just need that somebody to listen to you, trust me, it makes a difference. Don't keep it in. There is always somebody willing to listen or to help. Please reach out. The community is here to help you. We're a family. Stay winning, and we'll catch you on the next one.